We are back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. Here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, continuing to fight and hold support. And in today's volatility, our SPY bot at 10:40 a.m. sent out a bear indicator, and from that moment forward, outflows crossed the midpoint to the downside. Pure weakness down 42 vision, and put options went up 150% plus within an hour, guys. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots, and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. So here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, fighting to hold support. And in today's video, we're going to break down the key levels I would watch going into tomorrow. But before we do, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunity that was mentioned this morning over at the Discord. So the home run today was spectacular and beyond expectations. And if you guys want to know about these stocks early on and receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. So the home run today was from our Netflix bot. Our Netflix bot at 9:40 a.m. sent out a bear indicator, and from that moment forward, outflows crossed the midpoint to the downside. Pure weakness there on 42 vision, and put options went up 200% plus within an hour, guys. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge of the charts, you can now gain access to it as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected over to our bots, and we look forward to having you join us, and we strive for opportunities like these every single day. Let's jump into these charts. Here we are with the SPY, the S&P 500 index, doing a full transition from bright green bars to red bars. And if this completes the last transition, it would hit white with red borders. If this is your first time coming across the channel, this is 42 vision, which allows us to see the dips from the rips to the dips, and where the strength and weakness lies within the charts. And we also use our bull and bear indicators and inflow versus outflow as an extra layer of confirmation, which I'm going to pull up here and you can now gain access to as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicator, getting connected over to our bots and becoming part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts and using these resources to maximize in either direction, whether stocks are going up or going down. And in today's video, I'm going to pull up the inflow versus outflow indicator, which adds that extra layer of confirmation and gives us that edge within the volatility. So here we are with the SPY stock, the S&P 500 index, back under a bear indicator for the first time in the last 3 days. It was under a bull indicator here on Monday at the 495 area, used it as support and pushed up here above 505, hits 507 and rejected it sharply, and we're back down here near the 502 area, slightly below it at 501.85. Now, the SPY isn't the only one dropping. You have the QQQ under a bear indicator at 427. You have Tesla here slowing down that push up after earnings, and you have Apple continuing that run with that strength of the bull indicator at 166. Used it as support today at the open and pre-market, and pushing up to test that resistance of 170. But Netflix, as you saw, was the home run of the day. It continued that weakness all day after getting a bear indicator at 575 and coming back down to retest key support levels here near the 550 area. If that gets broken through, I will be watching closely if it tries to retest, based off the history of the chart, lower support levels. So a lot of stocks right now pushing up, others are going down, but the overall market, the SPY and QQQ, are pushing downwards, and I will be watching these levels and bull and bear indicators on these stocks going into tomorrow. Now, here we are in the bigger picture on the 1 hour back under a bear indicator as well at the 505 area. Under a bull indicator it was on Monday since 497. Full transition from the dip area to multiple rip areas, and so far back down to red bars. If this weakness continues and supports get tested, the last piece missing to complete the full transition would be white with red borders. So I will be watching that here in the bigger picture and how outflows react, which we're going to pull up in just a moment. Now, in the bigger picture, we could see it slowed down at a critical resistance here where things started to drop sharply in the last several weeks, and it was near the 505, 507 area. Definitely something to not ignore. Now, in the volatility of the 15-minute, you could see the fight here between the bull and bear indicators, but a bear indicator dominated here in the after hours, rejecting that 505 area where it popped up and doing a full transition from the rip area to the dip area and breaking through the support of the day at 503. So I will be watching this going into the rest of the after hours and going into tomorrow. Now, I'm going to pull up the inflow versus outflows and break down the key levels I would watch going into tomorrow. Here we are with the SPY stock, the SP 500 index, with outflows dominating most of the day and inflows trying to stay above here in the volatility of the 15-minute. You could see it there, fighting and continuing to reject each time it crossed over, and outflows dominating for most of the day. Now, if we zoom out and look at this from the 30-minute and the 1 hour, we could see here how outflows sharply dropped, crossed over, and it came back up. So we have a divergence here so far with it going downwards, doing a full transition here in the live action. That was the last piece missing. We were looking for that, going from bright green to white with red borders. And then now we also have inflows back above. If this can continue to push up, it could start to reflect that strength into these charts. But if things continue lower, this may cross the midpoint and continue with the weakness in this bigger picture. So I will not ignore that. I will be watching that closely. Now, on the 1 hour, outflows continue to the downside all day, and they continue sharply here in the bigger picture, pushing downwards so far at negative 2.72. And that is something I will be watching the rest of these after hours and going into tomorrow. Now, when we zoom in the volatility, we could see here outflows trying to slow down, sitting at negative 2.98, and it's going to be crucial for these inflows to start to pick up, switch from red to green, push back over the midpoint, and start to reflect that strength into these charts and justify why it's up here on the 30-minute and green and push away from the midpoint. And the first resistance I'll be watching is the 504 area. Then above that comes 505. And then the 507 level. So those are the key levels I'll be watching to the upside if these inflows can continue to push up here on the 30-minute, pull up the 1 hour and the 15-minute with it. Now, to the downside, if these outflows continue below the midpoint and pull away and pull down the 30-minute with it, crossing back below the midpoint and switching from green to red, the first support I'll be watching is 500. Then below that comes 498. And then I'll be watching the 495 area. So these are the key levels I'll be watching to the upside and to the downside. The bull and bear indicators are going to be crucial. And the inflow versus outflows, I would not ignore them, as in the volatility, they're trying to slow down. If it starts pushing up, it could justify why it's back above here on the 30-minute and start pulling upwards away from the midpoint. Start reflecting that strength into these charts. And I'll be watching if it can roll over into the 1 hour, slowing this down and pushing it back above the midpoint. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.